Chapter 36. Reunion. Prophetic Action. When Lamech heard this from Enoch, he was completely overwhelmed. He screamed with joy and ran with open arms to meet his family. And the not-so-young Enoch had to put wings to his feet to keep up with Lamech, for the fortunately only short distance. It sounds perhaps a little strange that Enoch accompanied Lamech, but this event was not so empty as one might want to imagine, for it contained a threefold prophetic meaning. The first is this: to thereby indicate to the leaders that they should not inhibit the progress of their disciples through a retarding, hesitant, and the best spirit-killing, cunning pedantry, but to always follow the power of the spirit of the disciples, and this in such a way as to walk quickly with the quick, be free with the free, with the strong strong, to be patient with the weak, to pull the dawdling towards himself, and to be inspiring to the timid. The second meaning is the depth, or the world, through its quick industrial progress, draws the spiritual more rapidly into decay. Because the spiritual in the world is carried by matter, and is there to redeem the prisoners of matter, equivalent to the spiritual Enoch, who now was in the depths, to redeem the material Lamech, and to reconnect him with his family. More deeply said, with his purified and elevated desires. The third is and was the prophetic meaning. That, namely, the children of the heights have soon and with quick feet been drawn to the depths, and there have given their desires free roam, because as sages and philosophers they went down, and as philosophers very soon gave in to all kinds of debaucheries. These were thus the three prophetic meanings of Enoch's quick following. But, someone will say, if it is so that the prophets always have determined the future by all their deeds, actions and speeches, in what should and in most cases actually is happening, then the people on earth are in a spiritual respect definitely not free, and must therefore act just as the prophets have foretold to them. And as such the children of the heights had to fall when going to the depths, because Enoch already foretold this through his accompanying walk. So if this is the case, how can people then be punished and chastised if they had to do what the prophecy had signified about them? But, I say, if that would be the case, it would of course be sad to be a living creature. But since matters are completely different, and the prophets only indicate the necessary consequences, which must arise at a predetermined time from the one or the other action of man, with such certainty as a corresponding fruit must sprout at a predetermined time from one or the other seed kernel which someone has put into the earth, I'm of the opinion that it is not quite so bitter if I indicate to the people, through the prophets, the kind of fruit or necessary consequences their actions hold for them. Is it then really so very bitter? If the farmer knows in advance that he can only harvest wheat from wheat kernels, and nothing but weed from the seeds of weed. But if such is good for man, Why then should it not be good for him to find out through the mouth of the prophets which fruits must come forth out of his actions, according to my eternal, immutable order, and must come forth at all times when a person repeatedly continues doing the same actions and does not change his behaviour? However, if a person changes his actions, he will also bear different kinds of fruits, a condition which always is added by every prophet anyway, because a true prophet always speaks and acts conditionally. The freedom of people is thus by no means impeded by the prophets, but only extraordinarily enhanced, because thereby man gets to know his actions, and only then can exert them absolutely freely, for he then knows what fruit they will bear for him, either good or evil. Thus also in Enoch's action lies only a condition, about which we will hear him speak of at the next opportunity. However, since the two have already met up with the family, pay attention to their behaviour.